about my 8-week-old puppy.
Hi, Max. You're so cute. What's up? I love you so much.
And he is super, super energetic. This is my first dog, and I don't want to say I wasn't prepared because I did do a lot of research, but you never know what something is truly like until you are actually experiencing it. And I think that the positives definitely outweigh, I don't even want to say the negatives of having a puppy, but just the hardships of having a puppy, because it is really like your child. So if you are considering having kids, I suppose a puppy is a perfect way to try to see what that would be like. But so during this past week, we've been trying to do a whole bunch of different things with him just to kind of establish routines and make him feel comfortable, as well as getting him adjusted to the new house. I mean, one of the things I was most concerned about was him leaving his home, obviously. I mean, his mama, his other litter siblings, his environment, his routine that they have established. And I was really worried about that. But I think during this past week, my boyfriend and I have done an okay job at making him feel more accustomed to our home. So our routine is basically several things. What are you doing? One of the things we've been working on diligently is potty training, and we've had him for a week and 2 days exactly, and compared to the first day, he has improved tremendously. However, we still do have accidents here and there, but thankfully he is so tiny and he's so small that it's not like it's going to stain anything. But in order to kind of prohibit an accident from happening, we try to be proactive in taking him outside. He doesn't have his second shots yet, but we have an area in front of our house which is like our own grass. So we put his collar or his harness on and we take him outside. What are you doing? Times throughout the day. One of those times specifically is at midnight. My boyfriend will wake up and take him out. Then I wake up at around 4 o'clock and take him outside. And then we've been trying to take him out later in the morning to try to kind of get him on our sleep schedule. We've been trying to take him out again around like 6:30, 7 o'clock, where he is like actually up for the day. And then after we take him up, right after he wakes up from his crate, we'll give him breakfast. Then we'll take him out again like 20 minutes after. And then after that morning, routine is done with his potty and his food, we try to cycle it so he's going out every 2 hours after. And the luxury I have from being a teacher is that I'm off for the summer, so I can dedicate my full amount of time and energy into taking him outside. However, I know everyone doesn't have the luxury of doing that. And even though I'm home from the summer, it is still a lot to like take care of a puppy, but can still assist here and there. For example, if I wanted to run and use a bathroom or take a shower or whatever, he can be in the room physically to watch him to make sure he's not like, I don't know, doing something he's not supposed to be doing. Another thing we have been really working on with him during this first week of having him is establishing like what is no. He is young, he's energetic, he likes to play, but he's in his chewing, teething, biting stage. And that has been really difficult for me specifically, because once he starts like biting, it's really, really hard to make him stop. And he like latches on, and sometimes he likes to play like tug of war with my skin. And the only thing that we have found that has been working is really just telling him no, or distracting him with another toy, or like picking him up and moving him to try to calm him down somewhere else. And there are pros and cons to each of those. So for example, telling him no is a pro because he's kind of starting to get to understanding what no is. A con is that he still isn't fully aware of what no means. If we distract him with another toy, that's great because that could be a temporary fix. However, it doesn't seem to be fixing the long-term issue of him biting us. And then if we pick him up and we kind of put him to the side, again, that can calm him down temporarily, but we don't want him to associate every time he bites, we pick him up. He does like to be picked up. So we don't want that bad habit to positively reinforce him. So it's been difficult, but we are still managing how to best handle that situation. And we know it's only temporary and we know it's going to pass, but in the moment it is a lot. We've also been trying to teach him commands. So he knows sit. He knows exactly what that means. We can tell him to sit with or without a treat. We can tell him to sit if he's in the kitchen, or if he's like being really hyper and trying to jump on us, or him down. And we were trying to teach him down, and I think for the first 2 or 3 days I just wasn't doing it correctly. So I watched a YouTube video of how to teach your puppy to down, and the problem that I was having was that I would have the treat in my hand and he would be like right here, and I would down him, but I would down him too far away. And so instead of him going down, he would kind of move forward, and that wasn't helping. So what I learned was that when he's here, I need to put the treat directly down in front of him, in between his paws, and then eventually he just plops down. crouched down a lot. But he's still learning. It's kind of funny because sometimes I'll be like down and he's like, what are you talking about? I've never learned down in my life. You have never told me down before. It's like, I know you know what it means, or at least I think you know what it means. And even just doing these training sessions with him has been really, really fun too. I feel like it can be easy to kind of be frustrated in a training session or like telling him no or something like that. But what has helped me a lot was to just remember that he is so young and he's going to continue to get better. And the more patience and the more understanding I can be to him and show him that with my tone of voice, with how I look at him, with my body behavior, all of those things are really, really important in establishing a safe and healthy relationship. And I feel that once a safe and healthy relationship is established, then he will be more likely to follow what I want him to do, or have good behaviors, or do a command for me. And just maintaining that composure is really, really important. And I feel like I'm saying all this and I'm like, oh, we've been like this. And it really hasn't been like that either, because we play with him so much. We take him outside. We cuddle together. Like, we do all like the cute puppy fun things. And I don't want it to feel like, oh, I'm just dog training or I'm just trying to teach him how to do this, because those things are really important. However, at the same time, I want to enjoy puppyhood and I want to be a dog mom, and he's only going to be little for so long, and I'm just enjoying his little tinyness of what he is for the moment. Training him too. So a friend of mine actually gave us the crate, and it didn't come, it's a giant crate. It did not come with a divider. So we had bought a mesh divider thing because it was cheap on Amazon, like $10, and we tied it together. But even with the divider, dividing it so much, he was still so tiny. And I know that in a crate, a dog is only supposed to like lay down and be able to turn around, so he doesn't use the potty on his crate. So what we had to do was actually take my cat's old bed, which is a circle tiny green thing, and we put that in there with a blanket with some toys, and the circle tiny green thing, her old bed, is what he is in. Crate training has been actually really fun because he like learned it almost immediately. And a really easy way to get your dog to be crate trained is to just make it feel comfortable and safe, and an environment in which he would really, really want to be in, like, all of the time. To make that crate feel like his home and his place, an easy way that we saw to do that was to just feed him in his crate and give him treats in his crate, and he just loves his crate now. He does still bark and he whimpers and like cries sometimes in his crate. For example, like when he's waking up for a nap and we're not right there, like say I'm in my room or my boyfriend is in his office or something, he'll like cry and he'll whimper, and that's normal, but we're trying to get him used to not crying and us immediately going to him right away. So we have been trying to extend the amount of time between his crying and us arriving. So I think we have it somewhere between like 3 and 5 minutes, just depending how loud he is, because we are in an apartment complex and there are houses like top, bottom, left, right, like in every direction of us. And we don't want him to be like yelling at 6 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning and our neighbors hear him. So it's been a balance between doing what we need to do for him at the times where it's appropriate and being mindful of our neighbors. If you have your own house and your own yard and your own private environment, maybe you could let your dog whimper for a little bit more. But if you are in an apartment or a complex setting, that is something that we are really mindful of, and it's just important to make sure that your neighbors aren't hating you and your puppy. And then we have my cat up here. What's up, Boca? We have my cat up here. And getting them used to one another has been interesting because my cat is the type of cat who really takes a long time in opening herself up to someone or something or a big change. And we anticipated that she would just see him and run right underneath the bed because for whatever reason she just feels comfortable and safe underneath the bed. However, when we brought him home, she didn't initially run to the bed. She was just kind of like looking at him with like her giant eyes. And that same day, even though we have his space gated off, she still came and sniffed his toys. She was being in the same room as him. She was walking around him, around the area, wondering like, what's up? What is this thing? I have no idea what it is. And she did hiss at him, and she knows what no means, and we told her no, but that is a way for her to kind of establish her dominance, and being like, bro, this is my place, so don't even try to think that you're gonna be anything here because this is already my place. So she did that. I think she only hissed at him twice though in like the whole entire week, and she did like paw at him a little bit, but nothing serious because she knows how to use her paws for playing or just like curiosity's sake. And we really, really, really try to supervise them as much as we possibly can. But like, for example, you turn your head for a quick second and boom, he's like, he can be doing anything. So one of those times when she was in the room and I didn't realize she was in the room, he like bolted at her, like just ran at her, and she just ran over the gate, jumped over the gate, and went back into her environment, which is our room. Good boy. And it's not like he's howling at her or barking at her, and it's not like she's hissing at him or like, I don't even know, like swiping at him. And I think they're both just still very curious about one another. So we're letting it take its time. Like, we're not rushing anything. There's no need to rush anything. Just the fact that she's in the same room and the fact that she wants to be with him and wants to smell him and be with us if we are in the same room is fantastic for us right now. It is way more than what we anticipated, so we are in no way going to rush them getting acquainted to one another, because if we take our time now, then they would be more likely to get together on their own terms and establish a really safe relationship. So we got a puppy. We love the puppy. We have fun with the puppy. We adore the puppy. The first week with him has been interesting and challenging at the same time, but overall we have loved the experience of having him with us, and we love him. So if you're considering a dog or first week with the dog, here's your first week with the dog for us. And we are hoping to just have many more weeks where they're much more positive and where he just continues to learn new things. And we are excited to develop this relationship with the dog and do all the dog mom and the dog dad things and just spoil him rotten, because who doesn't want to spoil their puppy rotten? So anyways, bye.